What's going on, guys? It's Rupri here. The Chinese Communist Party recently came out with a super ambitious plan. That plan is to increase their GDP growth rate by 5% this year. So in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what China is going to do to meet that 5% goal. And I'm also going to tell you on why I think meeting that goal is sort of like trying to climb Mount Everest in flip-flops. In other words, it's not going to work. Let me talk more about that. So it starts with Premier Li Qiang. He was the one who made this announcement in front of 500 delegates during the session of Congress. And these are the propositions that he made.
The main target for development this year are projected as follows. The GDP growth of around 5%, over 12 million new urban jobs, surveyed urban unemployment rate of around 5.5%, CPI increase of around 3%.
Now, I love optimism and I'm an optimist myself, but even Li admits that this is going to be a hard challenge that China has to face. In a statement, he mentioned this: the foundation for China's sustained economic recovery is not yet stable, with insufficient effective demand, overcapacity in some industries, weak social expectations, and still many risks and hidden dangers. And he's exactly right. So let's talk about China's plan to make this all right. Li's plan includes this: urban development and issuing long-term bonds. China is going to make available 12 million jobs in urban development areas to help those who are not employed. And that's really good because China's youth unemployment number is at 14%. That's a lot, so it's really going to help those out who don't have employment. It's going to help cater to their needs. And the next thing they're going to do is issue long-term bonds in value of 1 trillion yuan, which comes to around 139 billion US dollars. What are they planning to do with all of that? It's actually sort of unknown. The reality is, Li was not clear on a bunch of plans that he made on that speech. He did not really mention the specifics of any details. And guys, I'm not surprised. I'm pretty sure you guys are probably not surprised either, because we're talking about China here. The fact that they even made this speech public is really good. I'm really happy. All right, now comes the point in which we talk about why China is going to fail. For starters, the global economic landscape is not doing good, with global regional wars, with global supply chain issues. On top of that, China's been facing a huge real estate crisis that's been dragging its feet. Youth unemployment numbers have hit record high levels, and the debt is to a point where it's never seen before. Not to mention, the world is still shaking off the implications and the effects of the pandemic even now. All right, so let me get real with you guys here. Issuing long-term debt is like trying to put a band-aid on a broken leg when the consumer confidence is not there. On top of that, the government is aiming to give a hand to the housing market with some government subsidizing housing. The plan to buy up the countless unaffordable apartments and turn them into affordable housing. While this all sounds great on paper, the sheer scale of the housing crisis makes it seem like trying to sweep away leaves in a windstorm. Now let's look at the past performance of China when it comes to the GDP growth numbers. And China was absolutely killing it. They even had double-digit growth numbers before the year 2020. Not many countries are able to say that. But unfortunately, after the pandemic, China was not the same. Increased disturbance led to people moving away from China as their long-standing manufacturing partner. Those troubles translated into domestic troubles. Obviously, the main one being the China housing crisis. And then we got problems with the company like Everglade building too many properties and building it with material like clay that didn't really withstand anything. Yeah. So obviously, with the housing market crisis in China, it's been going on for so long that they really need to get a grip on it first. They need to do that first before they possibly even think about meeting that 5% growth to GDP target. Now, economists, sharp minds at Oxford Economics and Trading Economics, they're all raising their eyebrows at the 5% targets, suggesting that a more realistic figure is actually closer to 4%. And let's not forget, this number is ambitious even in China's standards, and trying to replicate last year's 5.2 year-to-growth rate is just going to be very, very hard. Again, it's possible, but a lot of things need to go right in China for that to actually take place. And lastly, guys, here's the core of things. Despite the grand plans and ambitious targets, the reality on the ground paints a different picture. Consumer spending hasn't bounced back as hoped. The real estate market is more of a house of cards than a fortress of strength. and local governments are feeling the pinch. Their pockets turned inside out from pandemic spending and slumping tax revenues. Regardless, China is the second largest economy in the world, so any drastic changes made by the Chinese government are going to most certainly affect you as well. So I wish China good luck. I hope they're able to make that 5% target, but if you ask me, they're not going to be able to do it, at least with the circumstances that they're able to face now. It's not going to happen. So let me know, guys, what do you think? Let me know in the comment section if you think China's going to be able to meet that 5% goal or not. Let's have a discussion there. So I really enjoyed making this video. I hope you guys enjoyed watching it as well. So if you did, subscribe, and until next time, see ya.